Hey guys, this is Tarot by Tess coming to you with your 17 reading. This is for Aries, and I don't know if you see other video that I posted asking subscribers what they wanted to see. And I admitted that I have some biases towards Geminis and Aries, and so I try best to be objective. Well, in this reading, I can't be very objective because it's all good. So, I mean, biases are gone. As far as that is, yes, I'm objective. But as far as looking for bad things, I'm not seeing it, you guys. I mean, I'll try best, but it looks like super good news. So, yay, Aries. I did a reading that I've done previously. First, we have the situation, which is current or most recent. Then we have a conflict or like fate, some kind of obstacle. Then we have what you can do to change or help to ease this obstacle. Then we have strength, which is going to help you with the change, with the obstacle. And then we have other challenges or possibly dares. And this strength also is going to help you with those. And then you have the potential or the outcome. And the reason it's called potential instead of outcome is because this is dependent upon what you do over on this side. Okay? If you use your strengths to do these. And I'm going to let you know that your strengths, I really had to think about these because they didn't look very good. So I'm still a little fuzzy on those. If you see something that applies to you, just write it in the comments, okay? Okay, this is going to be for a few different people. And for some groups, everything's going to apply to you. So you have like a very full life. So it can be about love relationship. It could be just about a relationship. Whether it's mom, dad, friends, whatever. It's a career relationship and education relationship education reading and career reading and love reading. So we got a little bit of everything in here. So I'll try to write a story the best I can for you guys, but it will get a little bit fuzzy because we have a lot of different people here. And some of you got everything, so I almost feel sorry for you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the position. First card that came out was the Devil in reverse. Okay, the Devil is usually about addictions and being chained to something. Could be chained to a person, maybe a Capricorn. But, this talks about gambling. Okay, something that's addictive. So think about things that are addictive. At some point, this was you. And I don't know why this is going to be you, because, this is a Pentacles card. It's Capricorn. You're actually going to show up later. But, think of Aries. I think of them as having red hair. I know they don't, but fiery energy, red hair. So you're probably this guy or girl over here. Plus, there's a lot of fire in this. So maybe this is for guys. I don't know. Because the torch is right next to him and his tail's on fire. For some of you, this could be infertility. Is what you're struggling with. Okay. There is a few things about babies in here. I know, I think I have babies in almost all readings, and I promise I'm not baby crazy. I'm just trying to make sure that I give all the information out there. So anyway, this was somebody, they were chained to something. It could be they were chained to the idea of a person, of a career, something, okay? But, and recently, or somewhere recently, or even like right now, you're breaking that addiction. Okay, it's over. To clarify that, you got the Hanged Man upright. It's a lot better than him in reverse, okay? So when I see this, this talks about letting go of control. See here, this is trying to control things, and here, there's no control. So that's good. You're letting go of control of a situation. And it's not a bad control. It's not like you're out of control, okay? It's just, you're letting be what will be. Okay. And also, this person is willing to sacrifice what they need to. They'd be willing to sacrifice their own needs for the good of others. So, this is really noble of you. It says, you learn from your mistakes. Okay. So whatever this mistake was, you learned from it. Great, And just so you know, this card's rolled by Neptune. And Neptune has to deal with drugs. Okay. So just, there's some kind of an addiction like drugs, but it's over now. And that whole Neptune thing is going to come in handy later on in our reading. So just letting you know. Basically, it just says accept your current circumstances the way they are. And with the Five of Pentacles over here, it says you're either a student or you have a low income. Okay, and that's very important for this whole reading. Oh goodness, because we have pentacles all over the place. So this reading is like so about money, just so you know. But it's a little bit more than that too. Okay, the money is going to affect every relationship you have, even the one with yourself. Sometimes this can talk about escaping reality when you have the Knight of Cups, but that's not what's going on right here, right now, okay? It says, you know, you're going to do some careful planning. You're reflecting on, you know, all this stuff. You're probably buying some time because you want better. You're waiting on something better to come along, and you're just waiting for the right time. So you're not really stuck, but you kind of are. And the whole idea of this Hanged Man is just less is more. Okay, so less control, less intervention, just less is more. Don't worry, you're going to end up big at the end, okay? Coming over, like, this is your situation. There's, like, no problems here. Great. But your obstacle's coming up. Yay! Okay. First one is Eight of Cups in reverse. And you're very lucky that I recently did a whole bunch of research on the Eight of Cups, because that really brought about your reading, okay? When it's in reverse, there's two different meanings, okay? One, you know, here when he's leaving, he's going off to find his, you know, his inspiration, his artistic endeavors, okay? And I think that will apply here. This person's going off in search of something that's missing. Because there's 8 cups, and in the middle, oh look, we're supposed to have 9. Okay, so something was missing. Whether it's from a relationship that was just toxic, that you got out of, and you had left. Okay. Like maybe like you got to 7 of Cups and you started realizing that you weren't complete. You weren't following your dreams. You know, something was missing with you. You weren't whole. So when you got the 8 cup, you just kind of like put it over here because you wanted to really show the importance of that 7 cup experience. Like you had a realization. Now the 7 of Cups didn't come up because it's actually not that important compared to the rest of the reading. Basically, you're going off on your own to get some kind of inspiration. And that's what happened. I think that's in the past. If not, you're away now, but eventually you're going to return. Now, I would normally say you might return to some kind of an addiction, but the rest of the reading doesn't show that. Okay? There may be one person out there who does, and they manage to be successful somehow, but that's very, very unlikely. So what I'm thinking is you're returning to a relationship that you had left. It could also be returning home. You could be going home to your mom and dad because, well, I'll tell you why in a minute. Or you could be returning to this relationship that's a little bit toxic, or just somebody who you were addicted to, but you got over, you left. Reasons why. One is maybe you got really fulfilled. Like you found that 9th cup and you're coming back to put it right here, okay? It almost looks like it's like sitting in a doorway or something, or maybe a window. Like somebody's looking out and watching somebody leave. It's like you're coming back to this person, whoever it is, because it's in reverse. So there's 2 meanings. One, you got what you needed, and now you're coming back. You're fulfilled, you're complete. Means like, you know, you've been successful. There's some kind of like a reunion, you're going to feast and blah, blah. But it could also be when you left, like you had no direction. Okay. You were uncertain about things. Like you were desperately longing for something that was impossible, or so you thought. And because you're such a martyr person, you are willing to sacrifice your dream to return to like a relationship that's loveless, or you're just willing to put your dreams on hold. Whether it's going to a relationship or just going back home to like family members, or even going back to a job that was bad. Yeah. Some of you, this is a very toxic job, and you left, and you were just excited. You were going out to do something with artistic inspiration, and most people are like, yeah, whatever, you'll be back. And you did come back. Some people it was for happiness, but others it wasn't. Others it was you didn't make it, okay? And so you went back to an old job, or you just went back to an old lifestyle, like working a 9 to 5. And you feel utterly lost, and you feel ashamed, maybe guilty. And so you're stagnating, you have no purpose. And so you've returned. I mean, that's got to be just, oh, okay. Whatever it is, you couldn't make it on your own. Or maybe you're just really, really great, but I'm not really seeing that, okay? Next to it, we clarified with the Empress upright. So some of you came back pregnant, okay? This would be for the ladies out there, just saying. And then some of you came back because you were invested in something really beautiful. Maybe you had a business with somebody at a job that was in the beauty field, okay? Maybe your home is just really beautiful. Like you feel at home, okay? And it's just beautiful. Like maybe there's like a beautiful garden or a lake or something. But some of you are pregnant, and some of you be pregnant with an idea. And you know, oh, okay, this idea can't come to fruition unless I go back and somebody kind of like takes care of me. Because remember, you have a low income. Let's see if anything else with the Empress. Basically, there's some kind of an investment, not necessarily monetarily, but you need to save your money in order to get this other investment, okay, in your artistic endeavors. Some of you be hairdressers, because we do have beauty and then we have artistic abilities. Basically, this talks about fulfillment. So some of you came back because you got fulfilled, okay? Great. Yeah, then your reading's probably over, okay? But stay and listen just in case I come up with something else. Not that I'm making it up, but if I see something new that I didn't see before. Basically, this talks about being creative. So obviously, you can create a baby, or you could just have a creative idea. You're trying to, you're coming back so somebody takes care of you so you can work on your creativity. You thought you had to leave to get it, but you couldn't survive, and so you came back so you could work on it. And that's going to help you survive. Like, you're going to have a benefactor. And also, you doubt yourself. And other people were probably ignorant, or maybe you were ignorant about how to go about it. Just so you know, this also talks about sensual lovers and marriage and commitment. So you may decide to marry somebody or get married because of a pregnancy. Basically, you're just going to have open dialogue with somebody. The universe is intervening. Some of you intervened because you needed money, you need a place to live, and others intervened and you have a baby. So that's like the conflict, okay? To help change your conflict, or just at least to make it less. Yeah, the Five of Pentacles upright. Remember we talked about this as you're a student or you're just low on money. And you do see this person's out in the cold. So you were really afraid of being destitute, like suffering monetarily. So if you don't want to live with this person, you're going to have to be destitute. That was pretty much your choice. Also, this is kind of a cyclical thing going on. You left home and come back, and left home and come back. Basically, your happiness is blocked, okay? You're worried about money. Some of you be shacking up with the friends with benefits. Yeah. But if you have a benefactor, it's going to end your money troubles, okay? And over here with the Three of Pentacles combined, it's saying, yeah, you need somebody to help pay your way. For some of you, I didn't think about that before. Some of you have returned to an addiction, whether it's a person or drugs. Because, this talks about somebody paying your gambling debts. And, this could be gambles. So you need somebody to pay off your gambling debts if gambling was your addiction. But next to the Five of Pentacles, we have the Five of Wands. So we have two fives next to each other. Fives mean something's not permanent, okay? It could also be just conflict, loss, instability. Could be challenge, you need to challenge yourself to change this conflict. For some of you, here, it says you might get material prosperity, but your spirituality is going to suffer. Because you see, there's money, but they're outside of the church. So you may, gamble and get somebody to pay for it, but it's just going to hurt your self-esteem. It's going to hurt your spirituality. Also, some of you out there have an odd relationship. By odd, I mean something not accepted by society or religion. And so you're just going to step outside the church. And you might gain, this relationship, but, you're going to be kind of like an outcast. You're going to be out in the cold. That's not for everybody, though. So the Five of Wands next to it is in reverse. Okay. And sometimes with the Knight of Cups over here, it talks about somebody doesn't want there to be like a tense situation. Somebody doesn't want like hot tempers going on. And that could be, why you're stepping out. Okay. Also, for some of you who got pregnant and you're a religious person, or your family's religious, you may have to like step outside the church because you know it's going to set people off, right? Especially if like you're not married. Like here, these people are not married. They were like very sexual with each other, and then you probably ended it. And then you went back. Maybe you got pregnant. Okay, like during the course of that, you got pregnant, and then you realized, oh, you know what? The addiction's over now. Like I no longer have this, addiction to sex. I don't have a physical attraction anymore to this person, but now I'm pregnant. This, talks about you're ready to move on. You're no longer trapped by something, but then you go in, okay? And there could be some kind of like scandal as far as pregnancy or gambling. Also with the Five of Wands in reverse, it talks about litigation. So some of you, there could be some kind of lawsuit going on. Like you were leaving somebody and then you came back because they threatened divorce. And they said, okay, I'll divorce you and I'll keep all the money, or I'll take all your money. And so this person's like making a decision like, ooh, okay, I'm going to go back because I don't want to be destitute. And as far as this being the change position, that's actually the good decision. Okay, I know that sounds terrible, but that's what the cards are saying. They're saying, yes, do what you got to do to survive and not be destitute. And yeah, there may be some, like, you have to swallow your pride, you have to have a hurt soul, but it's going to be for your better good. And trust me, that's true. Okay. Back to business type of stuff. Somebody's going to have to help you out monetarily. And when it's in reverse, it says people are reluctant to do something for you. It's more about them than it is about you. Okay. And it says be patient, especially if there's hot tempers. Like if you're waiting on somebody to accept a pregnancy, they're going to come around. Okay. And this also says you're not breaking up with somebody. So yeah, you're going to go back. You're not going to clash with a partner. You're going to try and like keep the peace so there's not like some tempers going on. You don't want anybody to make snap judgments either. So like normally out of instant gratification, you'd be like, I'm not coming back, or I'm not doing that. But you're going to actually take your time and think about it, and you're going to make the logical decision. But then this talks about irrational decisions. So that's freaking crazy. I think you're going to avoid irrational decisions, or this is telling you to do that. Just be patient. I think that's what I'm seeing. Everything's going to work out. You don't have to compete with anybody, okay? Because some of this can be about competition, and I do see that later on in the business reading. And it says, you cannot be feeling bold, but you need to be bold, okay? Maybe the irrational decision was, just not thinking about something, being careless. It says, listen to your dreams and intuition. They're going to tell you the truth, or they're going to give you some information on what to do, okay? Overall, just trust yourself. You know what's best for you. All right, so coming to the strength position, the one that I really had to look for something, okay? All right, first came up was Knight of Cups in reverse. And I thought, well, okay, no love offers coming in. Yeah, that's your strength, okay? I mean, it was like, nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants a love offer. Even if you're with somebody, you still want people to admire you. So in reverse, it talks about not accepting yourself. But what I'm thinking it is that you don't care if people don't accept you. Okay? Like you're just, who cares? It doesn't matter. Here you have inspiration with a lack of follow-up. Well, here you have inspiration and you're going to follow through on it. That's your strength. And they just talk about deception, so be careful of that. It talks about like an aging relationship that's deteriorating because somebody's being fake, or maybe adultery. But this relationship is going to be your strength because they save you monetarily, like the Five of Pentacles suggests. Like this relationship would be with the Three of Pentacles person, whoever that is. When you get this with the Chariot, it talks about smooth transitions are in the works, okay? Now, even though later you get the Chariot in reverse, I don't think that actually applies here, what position it's in. I think you're still going to get it. We just not see it coming. So you're going to have a smooth transition in work and relationships, whatever it may be. And it says, you know, if you're dating, you're going to have bad luck on dates. Like nobody's going to have long-term intentions towards you. Or you not have long-term intentions. Just lots of shallowness going on. But I think this is mostly about accepting yourself or not caring what other people think. And then backing up your inspiration, your idea. And also you're not under any illusions. You see everything the way it is. And this also talks about not committing and not getting married. So maybe somebody wants you to get married because you're pregnant and you're like, no, and it says you also have self-control. This person doesn't have control necessarily. This person does. And you're not daydreaming. Like you see things with, like, for reality. This person over here is coming to reality. Like they used to be a little out of touch, but they're coming to reality. And that would be signified by returning with the Eight of Cups reversed. Like you came to reality about something. And here, that's your strength. Being able to see reality. Like you were willing to go back, even though it's embarrassing, okay? To clarify, the Knight of Cups in reverse, we got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So I told you there's pentacles everywhere. We got the Devil, we got the Five of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and then pretty soon you'll have the Eight of Pentacles, okay? So we got pentacles galore. So it's about money and jobs and just how relationships deal with that. Okay, so Nine of Pentacles in reverse talks about financial setbacks. I want to just warn you in case, when you have the Devil, there could be some kind of a connection with deception, like robbery and violence. And we did talk about this, talks about deception. So I don't know if somebody's planning. I mean, this is in the strength, so I'm going to say it just in case. If somebody wants to rob you, okay, it might set you back financially. There might be some violence going on. This talks about deception. This talks about deception in order to rob somebody. Maybe somebody wants to steal your ideas. Maybe you steal somebody's ideas. I don't know, okay? But I will give you some hope. That is the Devil's in reverse. So maybe that the Devil needs to be upright in order for that to happen, and it's not. But just the association with the Devil brings that up for me when I see that. Also with Nine of Pentacles, talks about sacrificing. Especially, you're going to sacrifice your love life for your work. So again, that's a strength. You're going to be sacrificing things, especially for your work, your love, your passion. And some of you may take a cut and spend time with family. I don't really see that right now, but that's also a possibility for some people who are working too hard. And for those of you who are going back to this relationship because you got pregnant, you know, maybe you don't want to get married, but your strength says that you want to settle down because it's in reverse. This is like an independent woman who, she's not ready to settle down. Like, don't even think about it. And she also loves luxury. Oh goodness, she likes the luxurious lifestyle. And here, I don't think you care about the luxurious lifestyle so much. The Empress might, but remember, she's coming to reality, and you're coming to reality now, or you have been. And so this person doesn't care about fancy things or luxury. The other says you want to settle down. You want to be able to spend time with family. It also talks about a toxic relationship. So some of you do have a toxic relationship and you want to get out, and maybe you don't want to settle down. But there's other people who want to settle down, and this baby is going to help them do that. And they actually decide to get married because remember, this 5 over here, you know, wanting to avoid temper tantrums from people who don't approve of you. One, you don't even care, but it's going to be temporary because it's the 5. So eventually you might be like, hey, you know, I really do want to marry this person. Okay. With the Empress rules this card. And so this is about love. And it says, just with the Empress, and here it talks about a beautiful home with a garden. So if you went back home, you know, you really liked it because it's beautiful. But maybe you don't care. Like, it does not matter if it's up or down. It doesn't matter, I guess. But maybe if those of you who you needed me to say that you had a garden at your house, there you go. It's for you. But some of you just not even care about that kind of thing. Again, you don't really care about luxury, so why would you care about a garden? But we do have the Empress, so one thing, it's not your strength, but it's going to help you out to like have a benefactor to help you. This right here, this is somebody who's not self-sufficient. Okay, and it's important that I brought that up. If this was here, you would be self-sufficient, but here you're not. So you're not able to make it on your own, whether it's because of a baby or your job life or gambling something. Okay, but let's move away from the strengths because there's only some good things, and then there's also more clarification. It's clarifying and talking about strengths. Let's go to your other challenges and your dares, which you can't see all of them. But I pulled up the Page of Cups in reverse. Immediately I thought, okay, there's no offer going on. And I wanted to know what it was that also, like self-esteem issues are going on. So what it is that you're battling with that would cause you to doubt yourself. Because we have a few cards about not having self-esteem. So I pulled two other cards, but first let's talk about this one. It's in reverse. So Page of Cups in reverse, when there's, it talks about like promising but not delivering. And here, it's like you think, like this is you think you're going to have this inspiration, but you can't follow through. But it's in reverse, so you are going to follow through. But you're doubting yourself. You don't think you're going to be able to follow through. Whether it's relationship, job. I'm thinking it's more of a job area. Sometimes this is avoiding responsibility. So you see yourself like, oh, I'm a musician, so I'm really avoiding life. I'm avoiding responsibility. For others of you who are pregnant, you might be saying, well, I'm avoiding responsibility by not getting married. But the thing is, you really do want to settle down for some of you. And even like musicians, you want to settle down and have a family eventually. But first you need to like get yourself organized. Okay. And you need a lot of love because your self-esteem is low. And here you don't see your talents coming to the surface. Like here, they're coming to the surface. You don't see it. And again, with the Eight of Cups over here, it talks about an audition. So I don't think it matters if they're reversed. I think you're going to get an audition. You not think you're going to get one, but you are. And then it's some kind of work, this audition, that's going to be make you vulnerable to judgment. So again, we have like musicians, and Hangman, ruled by Neptune, talks about musicians, okay, artists in general. This also talks about a career as a psychic, like maybe on social media or something, or just in general, okay, and that can open you up to judgment by others. And here, ruled by Neptune, this also talks about a career as a psychic. And then Page of Cups with the Eight of Cups also talks about just working in childcare. So you want to be a teacher, you want to be a stay-at-home mother, and that would apply to some of you out there, okay? Or maybe just you get pregnant with the idea of working with children. Maybe there's no pregnancy at all, but there's a lot of people I see in here, okay? So bear with me. Also with the Knight of Cups, it says you're going to get a mentor. This could be your benefactor, but it could also be like a creative mentor, or maybe somebody from the church who's going to mentor you in the situation that they've been in before. Okay. I'm just looking here. I think some of you are going to avoid being kicked out of the house, whether it's a relationship or mom and dad, because you don't want to upset them because they're paying your way. So you're trying not to upset them. So you don't want to get kicked out of the house. You're going to do what you have to. Also, like, divorce and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to bring that up because I just thought about that. So this Hanged Man can talk about seeking job satisfaction. That's why I think this is about career for some of you. Or it could just be satisfaction in any endeavor, okay? Some of you, aside from psychics and, having done drugs before, and being a musician, and you're just going to be an artist. Maybe, like with the Knight of Cups, you could be a poet, a writer, photography, you could be a dancer, okay? So, Page of Cups is bringing up a lot of career stuff. But you're just having a really hard time with your self-esteem. Like you're probably going to have some admirers, or you're going to find out about them, but you don't know yet, and you don't see it coming. Probably because you're pregnant or you're in a relationship that you're stuck in, or you're at home with mom and dad, whatever it is, okay? This talks about positive surprises. This is negative surprise, which could be baby. But more than that, because I don't really see anything negative in here. Everything negative is in the past. So I think you don't see the positive surprise coming, because there is a positive surprise. It's at the very end. And again, this talks about feelings have turned neutral. So there's somebody you're just kind of like, you don't know if you should do something or not. You're actually indecisive because you don't see an offer coming in. Also, as a dare, this says be creative. Here you don't see yourself being creative. Like you can't, like you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I can't think of anything. Okay. You're not getting that idea that you're looking for, that inspiration. Like the one you left for originally and you came back because you couldn't find it. So this talks about like really seek to be creative. Also here, when it's upright, it's telling you it's a dare. Like the card is the universe, God. They're telling you to see yourself with different eyes. I mean, you have low self-esteem. You're not seeing yourself correctly. You have a distorted image of yourself. It says, see yourself, see the situation, whatever it is, see it with new eyes. Okay. So talking about the thing that you're battling, first we got the Chariot in reverse. Okay. Now with the 9 of Pentacles, which is over here, which is probably part of your strength, it says you're going to make a big move. Like here, I mean, this is like defeat and everything, but you're going to make a big move, maybe possibly out of defeat. Again, like you're battling, you feel like you don't have direction, you're doubting yourself, there's delays, you don't see things coming, okay? Be a little out of control with your emotions. You feel like you have to prove yourself. You think you're lazy. I mean, there's all kinds of things in here. Again, we have litigation. So you'd be like, ooh, do I get divorced and be destitute, or do I stay with this person, this benefactor? Again, it's not litigation, but just quarreling, disputes. Like, oh, do I stay with parents, or do I leave and be destitute? Like, there's a lot of destitute going on here. And money. You're also doubting yourself. You feel like there's no protection for the future. You're feeling weak. You're not triumphant. All these things. Remember, with the Chariot and the 9 of Pentacles, it says you're going to make a big move. And earlier, I think it was the Knight of Cups, said there's like there's like a smooth transition in the works. I don't know what card it was, but you're going to have inspiration with a follow-up. So, yay. Also, this could talk about not joining with somebody, like being separated. Because here you're trying to integrate some things, like join opposites. And here, it's not whole, okay? And it's also a Cancer card, so it can't be somebody you're trying to get away from. And just thinking of, what was it? Yeah, like here with the 9 of Pentacles, you feel like a failure, and this person feels like a failure too. So, I mean, that strength is not helping you out with this, okay? With the 3 of Pentacles, which is over here, and the 9 of Pentacles, this is saying you're going to be confident in your work, okay? In fact, usually I see this, means people are judging you, like you're going to be open to judgment, which this said you were going to be. People are going to judge you on your work. They're going to judge you on your relationships. Like with the 3, I think there's a pregnancy. For once, I don't see adultery or somebody cheating on somebody. So, whew. But people are going to judge you, especially if there's some kind of religious aspect. But with this 3 of Pentacles, it says you're going to be confident at work or in your work. And then again with the Knight of Cups, it says you're going to be living fancy. Because you have the Knight of Pentacles. Like, you're going to be living fancy. Even though you don't care to, you are. You even get a house with a garden. Okay? And that's going to be important later on. Also, with the 3 of Pentacles, sorry, leg was itching. You're just going to make sure the job is done right. Also, this talks about being fertile. Here it's infertile, here you're fertile. We know you're fertile, some of you, because you're pregnant. Whether it's with an idea, creativity, whatever it might be. This also talks about moving in with a partner. So you're like, ooh, okay, do I go back to this person? Because remember, this hasn't happened yet. Like, do I stay with this person that I moved in with? Do I need to do that? You know, am I going to get that nice, comfortable home? Because this talks about comfortable home. Here, you're outside the comfortable home. Here, you're returning to the home. And so you're weighing, you know, do I want to be defeated and angry and just destitute like the Five of Pentacles? Because 5 and 3 really go together. In fact, they make 8. But basically, this is talking about you're going to achieve something initially. You're going to have growth. You're going to have creativity. There's possibilities. It's going to be abundant. Basically, you're going to get freedom and stability. Now, this stability could come from going to a relationship you don't really want to be in, or going to an environment you don't want to be, even possibly toxic environment. But it's going to be worth it, okay? If there's anything else. Also, this says there's not going to be any obstacles. Like, if you do this, you won't run into obstacles. And this person, your benefactor, they're very generous with their money. So, I mean, you're pretty set. But, you know, you are in the apprentice period. And so people are judging you, and you have low self-esteem. You don't think you can do what you're trying to do. And you're just going from like theory to practice, and that's just a big transition. It says display your expertise and all the drama will go away. And you're also going to gain expertise at the same time. And then thinking about how you're going to need somebody to like help you out and pay your way while you're doing this endeavor. Or while you're pregnant, going through this. It says this can't be accomplished without teamwork or without some kind of a group or a union. So you can't make it on your own. And nobody makes it on their own. Everybody needs help. So you're trying to decide if you want to be defeated and on your own, or successful, able to make it, and not on your own. Okay. But remember, you have to see yourself with new eyes, okay? That's your dare. And honestly here, there's no choice. Like, I would do it even if it's not fun. Because that's what the cards are saying. And it looks like the better choice anyway. Come into your potential. Yay. You got the Knight of Wands upright. Now, everybody who's seen any videos, they know I hate this card. But I really want to thank you because it made me think about this card a little bit more. And just like I researched the Eight of Cups recently, I decided to go ahead and research this card too because I hated it so much. I thought there's got to be more meaning to this card than what I'm pulling out. So with Knight of Wands, it can talk about leaving. So again, it's just once you get everything settled, like this audition, like you're probably going to get it. And you're probably going to do well. Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, your talents are going to come to the surface and you're going to deliver. This also talks about, you know, do you want to make a small move or do you want to do like a big move? Like you have the wow factor, okay? You're trying to decide between those as well. And you're going to go for the wow factor. Because with this Knight of Wands, which I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't decided to investigate some more, you're going to be able to leave this relationship or whatever is helping you out. You're going to be able to be on your own after you've had all this happen. So independence going on over here. You're going to be able to depart. And also, I think this is you because you're Aries and this is a fire sign. I've always seen this as an Aries card. But for some of you, it may not be you. Or it may be representative of you and another person. Like this could be a love offer coming in. Or it could just be any kind of mentor or benefactor. And they're going to help you be independent. So they're going to show you how to be independent somehow. Or they give you the money that's going to help you to be independent, okay? So this could be your benefactor, but I think this is also you because, well, this is like, we had a competition over here. And this is people that are competing for your talent or your affections. Okay, so you're going to be winning at the end of this. Also, change of residence. So, you know, this home that you were at that you had to go back to, you had to do a lot of stuff so you didn't get kicked out. Well, you're going to move. Okay, and you're also going to leave this relationship. It could just be you're leaving the home. Maybe there was never a relationship. Maybe it was just a house. And basically, you're going to be determined. You have drive. You're confident. Because you haven't been, geez. And you're going to have all these opportunities. Like, you're not even going to hesitate. You work and travel, like as a traveling musician, perhaps. Like, you're going to get your big break. And also, if you're looking for love, you're going to find it while you're busy. Like, you're not even going to be looking for it, and it's going to show up. It's going to be very passionate. This says, you know, you're going to take a risk, but you're not going to be gambling, okay? You're not going to be gambling. You're just going to take a risk, like professionally or something, and it's going to pay off. You're going to be adaptable. You're going to transform, and it says you're going to achieve big. And you're just very excited. You're very joyous. And basically, you have it made. You have the perfect life. And because it's so perfect, you're going to be very flashy, okay? You're going to show off a little bit. But I mean, you worked hard for this, and you had to go through things. For those of you who are going to have love, this is news from your beloved. Okay. Or perhaps for those of you who are pregnant and you have a partner or you're getting married, this person's going to help you be independent because they're going to help provide for you. They're your benefactor. They're going to achieve big. And so it's going to help you out. That's going to be the news from your beloved. And you guys are going to be able to move into your own house together with a garden, whatever it is that you want. And some of you, with the Hanged Man, you might get so rich that you don't have to work at all. And then you have the time for your family that you've been wanting. Some of you strike it really rich because this is like a huge achievement. That wow factor, some of you get famous. Especially if you know you're musicians or dancers or psychics or something. This could be like the lottery almost with all the rest of these cards in play. Normally this would not be the lottery. But with the rest of the cards in play, yeah, I would say so. Now, I'm not saying the actual lottery. What I'm saying is you got something that you've been dreaming of, okay? Probably better than your dreams. Also, here when it's in reverse, you're addicted to something. Here, you're free from addiction. So those of you who got out of addiction and you went back, and then like you were gambling and somebody had to pay off your debts, and you're just trying to, you know, work it all out. You don't feel good about yourself. If, you know, you are addicted to something, you're going to get out of it. This is addiction, no addiction. So you not be addicted to sex anymore. You not be addicted to drugs. You not be in this, you know, toxic relationship that's like a cyclical, abusive relationship, perhaps. Somebody who's willing to like kick you out, you know. Basically, you get a great idea, mostly because you have all these pentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pentacles. We talk about how 5 isn't permanent. Also, just be careful because it may not be permanent wealth. Okay, so don't just do a little flash and then be responsible. like the Knight of Wands is responsible. I think I'm talking to the wrong person here. But yeah, people are going to compete for whatever idea. Sometimes this could be an invention. So you can come up with an invention. But it's usually when there's a magician around. I don't see him. But it could be just some kind of an idea, like this idea that you came home pregnant with. There's no arguments anymore. There's something else I think I'm missing. Maybe it. You'd be able to go and travel the world, like your job you for traveling, or you may just have the money to travel. And also, you may not be commitment phobic anymore. Like maybe you were because you didn't think you could support a family, but you want to settle down. But this person over here does. So that may be something that changes about you once you're successful. I mean, this is the potential. If you do all these things, you're going to be fabulous. Clarifying that is the 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles talks about working hard. And here in reverse, it means you're not seeing the fruit of your labor. But when it's upright, you are. Okay. This also talks about lacking direction. So, you know, at one point you did lack direction. You didn't know what to do. But this talks about, you know, helping yourself. But not only did you help yourself, somebody else helped you. But the way you helped yourself is by allowing them to help you. Here, you're not interested in the future of a relationship. Here you are. So maybe before you could have been a little flighty and non-committal. But that changed. Boy, did it change. So I kind of like this card now because all these other cards made it a good card. Don't tell anybody. You know, before you're not interested in somebody, now you are. But basically your hard work's paying off, and this is just fabulous. You know, if you keep doing it, you're going to stay successful. And also, you're not being vain or greedy. You're just focused. You're not working too hard. You're ambitious. Like here, you have the follow through. You're still in the apprenticeship phase, but boy, do you have a wow factor. Like, you've got it. You're going to persevere. You get engaged. Okay, because you know you do want to get married and settle down. And basically, you're working on your dreams, and they're quality dreams. Some of you will be getting education. and that's going to help you travel. Because remember, we did say somebody was a student. So something's going to happen too with education, and you're going to end up fabulous. You know, you took the initiative, you went out into the unknown purposefully, and it paid off. You took that risk, not gambling, but you took a risk and it paid off. And either you or your lover, one of you, or well, both of you, I would assume, you're going to stay by each other's side. So if you did have a relationship that you needed to stay in the bond because of a baby, not that you would have to, but maybe you felt like you needed to and you wanted to, you guys are going to stay by each other's side. Nobody's leaving. And that's also success. See, this card has two meanings because somebody's going to come back successful. Like they had that big break that they were looking for, and they had that idea, that inspiration that they went out to seek, and they come back and bam. So not only is it an obstacle, but it's also your fate. You're going to come back to somebody, possibly somebody who's pregnant. Maybe you're all in the same relationship together. I don't know. So it's a little foretelling as well. Let's see, yeah, because we talked about with the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, you're going to have fancy living. And the Nine of Pentacles is ruled by the Empress, so I think it's really funny that they're right next to each other, and that the fancy living card is next to the fancy living card, and they're both in reverse. You don't really care about fancy living, and the fact that you don't care about it is so funny because you're actually going to get it. I mean, only, life could do these kind of things to people. And before you know, you weren't reaching your goals that were going to like protect you from trouble, and at the end you are. Okay, like you're almost at that completion, like troubles are dissipating. But again, just watch out for some kind of robbery, because that might change the whole reading. But it may just be avoided somehow, because maybe you don't have fancy things. At least not at the beginning. You will in the end. I'm trying to see if I left anything out. I should have just like taken notes or something. Oh yeah, this talks about being self-sufficient. Here, you weren't self-sufficient, but when these are together and it's next to the Knight of Wands, it says, da da da, self-sufficient. Okay. In fact, not only are you self-sufficient, you're able to go and take care of somebody else if you needed to. And that's how much talent you have at your job, or your lover has at their job, and they're going to come and take care of you. I mean, this is amazing. Like, you made it. Like, maybe you went and got your education and you got a really good job. And, you were being judged. They didn't think, like, oh, they're an apprentice, whatever. And then you just blow them away. Like, you do like a really big move. That's that smooth transition that was in the works. Also, with the Eight of Cups and the Page of Cups, doesn't matter which way they are, it says you're moving on. Okay? So at first, when you don't have self-esteem, you're not moving on. You're stagnant. You went back to wherever you had to go to, so you didn't move on. Or you moved on, but then you came back. But because of this Page of Cups here, it says you are going to move on. And not only are you going to move on, like, you're going to, like, move. You're going to be traveling. I mean, the only other card that you didn't get in here that means move would probably be, like, the World or the Six of Swords. So I'm surprised those didn't show up. And then, it's almost like this Page of Cups is going to turn over. Because, like, you're going to see yourself with new eyes. You're going to be creative. You're going to be romantic. You're going to have admirers, probably one that you're not even looking for. Positive surprises, like really big surprises. Like, you made it. And just, there's this audition. Like, you had to, like, audition or interview with somebody. And your talents came to the surface. Whether it's, in the musical field, some kind of art, like photography, childcare, maybe being a teacher, being a psychic, something that let you be vulnerable to the public or judgment, and it didn't affect you, or it didn't affect you negatively. All right, I also forgot, I pulled some clarifiers in case it was romance. I wasn't seeing it at first. Let's put you guys back where you belong. Okay, so to clarify the first, the situation. The deception. So you're not deceiving yourself. Like, you see things clearly. Okay, you know what's going on. Then we had religious factors. Okay, and it's in reverse. So either you're not paying attention to religious factors, or it's just not influencing your relationship. And I can see that over here for, like, this pregnancy thing. Like, you're like, I don't care about what people think about me. Like, over here too. Like, if I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, And so you'll just like leave the church. Oh, bless me. So that's not an issue for you. Then coming over here to the change, it says heal family issues. So some of you have to live with your family for various reasons, but you know, if you're pregnant, for instance, they decide to like that it doesn't really matter anymore, like you're more important than whatever religious belief they have. So you're going to heal the family issues. And also if you have like a different relationship, such as like a same-sex relationship, or maybe a different culture, different race, whatever, you know, some people have biases against or prejudices. You know, you have to forgive them about these things in order for your love life to be happy. And the good thing is it's upright, so I think you're going to do it. That'd be why you benefit so much as well. And then next that came up for strengths, I don't know why this came up at this point. It was soulmate. So let me think about how that would play in. 9 of Pentacles. Could be you think somebody's your soulmate and then they try to rob you by deceiving you. But then again, you know, for this change, no, for the situation, you know, it says you're not being deceived. Maybe it's going to say, don't be deceived. Okay. Like, someone's wearing a false mask in the relationship. Here it says, you know, they're not. Maybe it's just saying, don't be deceived. Like, somebody try to rob you through deception. And also, you just see things clearly. I see that. All right, so we have 1, 2, 4. Yeah. Soulmate's coming up over here for 9 of Pentacles and King of Cups. Or Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so, you know, this is a very romantic card. So maybe once everything changes for you, you know, you accept yourself and romance is at your door. And this did say, you know, you're going to get somebody about almost like without even thinking about it. You get a love offer from a soulmate. Okay. You're no longer in that aging, deteriorating relationship. The soulmate. You know, you're proud of your accomplishments now. It's almost like everything just, this knight was upright, and so it turned the knight upright, it turned the page upright. There's like a lot of things I'm seeing, like movement happening. And basically there could be like a coincidence. You know, there's no such thing as coincidence in my view. And again, you know, you're going to listen to your dreams and they're going to help you out. But you're going to make that final commitment in marriage to your soulmate. You can even daydream about your soulmate. But you're very busy, so don't do that. Basically, you're going to have good news. And the good news is romance is right at your door. You have very deep feelings. It's a good message. It's a love offer. It's going to be very intense. You might get invited somewhere or just like a proposal, because we do have engagement. And that's right next to the Knight of Cups. So you could be offered an engagement, or you might be offering engagement. And just sensitive souls here. You're going to have a really romantic connection. And fancy taste, apparently. But now you actually have the budget for it. All right, and then for challenges, yeah, getting to know each other in reverse. So for those of you who are trying to decide between leaving and staying as like your choices with the Page of Cups, okay, like being in a union or benefiting from somebody else, it says you're not really getting to know somebody, and that's part of what the problem is. Or people weren't getting to know you, or both. So a lot of people probably put you down. They didn't know you had this wow factor, or that you were more than just an apprentice, okay? Because you're blowing people away while you're still an apprentice. They think you're just defeated and you're not worth anything, pretty much. Not only do you have to see yourself through new eyes, but when you do that, it's going to help other people see you through new eyes. And they're going to see your wow factor. You're going to have your confidence. A lot of these things, you are not confident, and then you become confident because you blew some people away. So they don't really know you. And that's part of what's clarifying this. People are going to get to know people, like be more social, okay? That might help your wow factor. That may help people see you for who you really are. And help your social interactions. Make you popular. Let's see if there's anything about 8 of Cups with popularity. I thought there might be. There might be 3 of Cups. Yeah, but it's 3 of Cups. All right, so as you reveal your innermost self, your bond will deepen. I think that also applies to lovers as well, though, because you are trying to choose. So whether it's work or lovers, or even yourself, getting to know yourself, seeing yourself through new eyes. And then for the last part, you got calling your soulmate in reverse. At first I thought, what? This person's like really achieving. I mean, this is definitely you, Aries, but it's also somebody else too. You're really achieving, it says you have a perfect life. So why is your soulmate not coming in? Because we also got, hey, where did it go? Oh, we also got soulmate. I said, so how can you have your soulmate and then not call them in? I said, doesn't make sense. And then I thought about what the Eight of Pentacles and Knight of Wands mean when they're together. And remember I had told you it said that like, you're going to be so busy you're not even looking for your love interest, but they're just going to pop up anyway. You're going to get them and you didn't even call them in. Like, it's just going to happen. Like, that's how magnetic you are, how successful you are, that it's just going to attract to you, like you're like a magnet. So it says here, you know, your prayers, affirmations, visualizations will help bring you together. You don't have to do any of that. None. Okay, so you're on easy street. All right, so that reading's so good. I'm tempted to leave it that way, but I'm so greedy for other cards. I'm just going to look at the bottom of the decks and see what's there. Okay, and if it's bad, then I'm just going to put it back. Because I think this is your reading, but I'm so greedy. I want to know for myself. If it's bad, I won't even show you. How about that? Okay, I'm trying to think about what that would mean. Probably could have been this way too. Ooh, okay. That's really good. Okay, so some of you got the Queen of Cups. And with the Page of Cups, it talks about you have a pure heart. There's like some psychic messages going on or telepathy. I think this is just talking about being psychic, which would apply to the Hanged Man, Page of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. So some of you out there are going to be in the psychic field, or you're just going to be able to be psychic. Like, you don't have to call in your soulmate because you already know what they're thinking. Like, you know they're coming maybe, but you just don't realize they're coming so quickly. Also with the Eight of Cups, it says some of you are going to write books. So we did talk about writers, okay? So if I left you guys out, well, here you go, it's for you. You're going to be emotionally secure, a good wife, a good mother. You know, you're going to be admired too. And you're not going to be dependent on anybody. You're going to be self-sufficient. This is just wonderful. I love this. And you're not going to hate yourself anymore. Like here, somebody hates themselves because they feel like they're not doing more or they're not talented. Okay. And here it's the opposite. Like, you don't hate yourself. You are doing more. You are talented. And other people see it too. This is really good. I like this. All right. Then I'm going to look at the other part. Yes. Oh, this is good. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm glad I pulled the cards in. You got the Lovers upright. Okay, so talking about your soulmate, they're coming in. We have 3 soulmate cards. Like soulmate, soulmate, and then you don't even have to call in your soulmate. So the word soulmate is showing up 3 times. Woohoo! I mean, you guys are just raking it in. Now, I think this is going to get started in March. I don't think it's going to be finished March. So don't think you're all of a sudden going to be married and meet your soulmate by, you know, March 28th or whatever. But let's see. Okay, so with the Lovers upright, yay. You know, you will have to make a decision. I think it's whether or not you're going to get engaged. And you do want to settle down according to these cards, or at least you will. So if you don't want to now, get ready. You'll be forced into it by a pregnancy. But it's going to be for good, okay? Basically, you're balancing here. You know, you weren't balancing the opposites. Here you are. Like, there's attraction, a sacred marriage, harmony, good communication. Like, you're going to get like a blessing of protection. You're going to be secure. You'll be strong in your beliefs again. You'll feel like you're right. You'll feel like you're important. And all this stuff has just like changed your plans. Like you being successful has changed your plans, and it brought in your soulmate. So I guess when you're on the path, you're the right path, and you know you sought guidance, you sought a mentor, which is what this says. You know, you had to go through that hard time, which seems like a negative at first, but it's really a blessing in disguise because it brought in your soulmate. You probably wouldn't have met them if you hadn't followed this path. So there was a different right and wrong path. So guys, please do these changes and the decisions and challenges to make. Use your strengths, because I want you to be on the right path. I want you to be so successful and stinking rich, and you love yourself and you call in your soulmate. I mean, I've never seen a reading better than this. I mean, you end up perfect. The only card that we could have got that would have made it better was to have the Magician, because then that would have been 4 cards that said you had a soulmate. I mean, you got 3, okay? Three's good, okay? 4 does talk about marriage and stability, but I'm okay with 3 soulmate cards. All right, guys, that's your reading for 17. give it at least like, 6 months before you see some of this start happening, okay? Because there's so much goodness here that I'm almost in doubt that it's just going to come right away. So give it some time, let it sink in, and just, go after your dreams, go big, take a risk, not actual gambling, take a risk. All right, guys, be happy, and you're going to be